Folks, welcome back. This is Bill Mitchell with the Bill Mitchell Show. I have with me Jason Mariner. I met Jason at an event the other day. He is running for Congress in Florida 20. This was Alcee Hastings district forever. Forever. This is a heavily blue district, but he thinks he can flip it back to red with an America First agenda. Jason, how are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. How about yourself, Bill?
Great, great. I tell you what, you're a real comeback story. You had some challenges earlier in life. You turned your life around. You've made yourself a big success, and now you want to translate that personal success into success for our nation, America First, and Congress. Tell us a little bit about your background.
That's correct. I started out as a pro fighter. I started training with basically when I could walk, and I kept at it. And in my late teens, I sustained a very severe injury. Just to give you an idea as how stubborn I am, I was put in an arm bar I would not tap and blew out completely my right shoulder, which caused the amputation of my right pectoral muscle, which led to a year in what amounted to scaffolding and
Ouch. Sounds painful.
OxyContin nonstop.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds
Nonstop.
painful.
As much as you want, here you go. And then one day the doctor said no more. And, what tragically happens, and this happens across the country every day, people get hurt, they get prescribed medications, and doctors, unfortunately, turn people into drug addicts. And,
Yeah.
an interesting statistic on that is in all the medical school that doctors go to, they only receive a few hours of addiction training. So one of the things that should definitely change.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, let's jump right into what your agenda is.
Sure.
Number one on your agenda is the border. We've seen that Joe Biden has completely opened up the border with Mayorkas. There is no controls. He's letting these people in. They are not being tested for COVID. They're not being vaccine mandated. Nothing. They're being shipped to the interior of the country. What's your take on that? How are you going to solve that?
They're being treated, quite frankly, better than Americans are being treated. Americans, we have something called the Constitution, I'd like to remind the Biden administration, which entitles us to certain unalienable God-given rights, meaning
Right.
they can't be taken away. And this administration thinks that they have the power to take those rights away from Americans, and I know that they don't. This nation was built, I say this all the time, on Judeo-Christian values.
Right.
And our founding fathers were insightful. They were prophetic men, and they knew that the Constitution, in fact, John Adams said it, the Constitution's only good for a moral and God-fearing people, which is why if you look back a little bit, you can see them starting to do things like take the Pledge of Allegiance out of schools.
Right.
It never alluded to a specific God. It just said God. And this radical leftist movement that swept, this nation recently, has been on to the fact that people of faith are people of power, and people of power
Right.
are hard to beat. There's this common misconception in the Revolutionary War that it was an all hands on deck effort, and it wasn't. It wasn't
It
at
wasn't.
all. It was 3% of colonists who were, by the way, farmers with pitchforks fighting
Right.
against the greatest military the world had ever seen, the biggest empire, and the first flag they flew over those battlefields was a white sheet with a pine tree on it, and it said, "An appeal to heaven." So they recognize that people of faith are people of power. So
Right.
there's an effort to destroy faith. One of my biggest goals is to bring faith back into the picture, make it cool again, so to speak, because it is, quite frankly. I was actually baptized earlier in the year, or last year,
great.
I should say, during the Easter this year, actually. I'm sorry. It's hard to keep track of time when you're
That's okay. I know. Trust me. I'm getting old. It goes by fast.
I know. So I got rebaptized. I want to bring my kids up with faith, and that's certainly something that's mandatory in my family, and as is education, especially American history. It's one of the most important things that we could do. I tell my oldest all the time, there's a reason that John Quincy Adams was our sixth president, and it's because John Adams, our second president, took his son everywhere with him, taught him about American history, the virtues of political science, of nature, the kind of world history. These men studied it well and hard, and they applied basically all the bad things that great civilizations had ever done. And they said, let's not do those things, and let's do the things that worked. And for a long time, America was called the Great Experiment. And I think it's We're at year 245.
Yeah.
I think we've
Yeah.
proven that it's
Amazing.
not
245.
the
I
greatest
can't
thing.
believe that. I can't believe that. Amazing. Okay. Opioid epidemic. This is a big problem in America. A
It
lot of
is.
young people, a lot of folks started off just getting an operation or that sort of thing, and they got addicted to opioids. They couldn't get over them. What are you going to do once you're in Congress to help us overcome that?
So one of the things that we really need to start looking at, and it boggles my mind how little we are talking about it as a country. Last year, 93,000 Americans lost their lives to addiction. There is fentanyl pouring across, and we shouldn't be calling it a border because it's not one. A border entails that there's some sort of deterrent from somebody
Right.
just waltzing across a line, and that's really what we have. Is just a line. It's just a barrier that you can't even see in some places. They're coming in unchecked. Um, Fentanyl is coming in at an unprecedented rate. It's being intentionally sent into the United States. In fact, one of my closest friends, um, his daughter, God rest her soul, thought
Mm.
she was taking a Xanax and passed away. And it was fentanyl.
Unbelievable.
And,
Unbelievable.
last time I checked, if things continue at the rate that they're continuing, if things stay on the trajectory that they're on, that 93,000 dead Americans from last year is set to triple this year. And it's, of course, due
Unbelievable.
to the border, and
Yeah.
I might
Mm.
add, this border is very pertinent to District 20. District 20 is an agricultural district.
Hmm.
Um, these farmers feed America. There's sugarcane growth. There's a ton of agriculture going on, and when we have 70% of those detained by Customs and Border Patrol telling them that they're headed for Florida, I'll give you a guess. They're probably coming to District 20. And in fact, I can guarantee a large percentage of them are coming
Right.
to District 20 because it's agricultural. Now, when you have efforts to do things like raise the minimum wage to $15 or $20 an hour, what do you think is going to happen to the job market for people that are actually United States citizens? There will be no job market because for every $20 an hour, $15 an hour person, there's going to be one or two illegal aliens that will fill that position, and that's
For
not
less.
something I'm
Right.
for. These
Yeah.
these these cities, there's billions of dollars in the ground, and these cities look like third world countries. They're left, they haven't been touched. They haven't been improved since the 70s, and it's all because of corruption. These cities, this district has been held democratically by people that steal. There's massive corruption going on, and it needs to stop. One of the things they said to me when I entered this race is that, Jason, black people won't vote for you. And I said, that's not true. And I'm going to go find out if it's true. And I started asking, and I start showing up in the community and talking to people who don't look like me. And I'm a straight shooter, and we talk. And nobody believes it. The narrative that the media tries to push is so fake. People don't buy it. It's just a narrative. It's a made up story. We don't hate one another. This is America. We love one another. And one of the things that I definitely want to do is shatter those walls that they have built between us as Americans, because what we need to do is come back to a point where we're a two-party system. That's what this country relies on to
Yeah.
exist.
Yeah.
If we lose the ability to be a two-party system, our founding fathers well knew that too, that we would die just as quickly. So, as for District 20, your jobs will be protected, your industry will be protected, your cities will be revamped. The corruption and theft, I'm already going to start to put a stop to that. There's a lot of people who don't want me to expose what's going on, and I've got news for you. Get ready to be called out on it because I will be exposing it. I'm not worried about the consequences. Right is right, wrong is wrong. And I said when I entered this race that I was going to do this. And if it was moral and just, that's what was going to happen. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we have about a minute left. So let's tell everybody
sure.
how they can reach out to you, your website, how they can donate to you, because folks, these campaigns need money. None of this stuff is free. How they can donate to you and how they
That's
can work
definitely
on your
true.
behalf. Go ahead and tell us about
That's
that.
definitely true. MarinerForCongress.com. That's my website. It's MarinerForCongress.com. You can find me on Facebook at Mariner for Congress, Twitter at Vote Mariner. And quite simply, you go to the website, there's a button there. You can hit donate, you can hit volunteer, you can spread the word, you can share the page, you can engage with me. One of the most poignant parts of my campaign is that I have a general idea as to what I'd like to do because I've asked people. I don't want to tell you what you need. I want you to tell me what you need and then see how I can go about
Great.
affecting the change that you need in your community. And I'm not from the government. That's a very important point I want to make. I have left everything behind, aside from my family, to do this, put it all on the line. That's what America needs to start doing, is going all in, because we're about to lose this country.
That's great.
That's not going to happen on my watch. So District 20, I've got you covered. I've got your back. Get out there and vote on November 2nd. I'll be your next congressman in South Florida's 20th district, and things will start to change.
All right, very good.
I'll get more done in my first year than's been done in the last 15.
This is what we need, Jason. We need people to go to D.C. and be America first and get things done. Folks, this has been Jason Mariner. He's running for House District 20 in Florida in a special election, and that's going to be on let's see, November the 2nd, right? November the 2nd is the primary,
yes,
and then the election early voting is already started, and the election is not until January. So very good, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for tuning in to this segment with Jason, and we'll see you again tomorrow. This is our last segment of the show, so take care. See ya.
God bless America.